He's the one drinking beer. I'm drinking water. 2 touchdowns a game?
Yes, in the game.
You're tripping.
How you high? No, high
Super Bowl time.
I don't know what we're doing in that front office, man.
Twiddling our fucking dick.
Ryan, I just need you to drink this.
Wide receiver trivia. That's what she said.
Her.
The fuck?
Her upset.
Are those crutches?
You can see Ryan's crutches. What is going on, folks? Welcome back to your favorite show on the internet. This is After Further Review, episode 210. I am your co-host, Jalen Brown.
I am your other co-host, Malin Dennis.
I'm your other great co-host, Lester.
And our special first half guest, who is currently saving the state of Florida, June Bug Spade. June, how are you, good sir?
I'm excellent. What's up, fellas?
It is good to have you. You're here in our state right now. That's comforting.
Hey.
Wow.
That means we're
All
all
four of
here,
us,
right?
State of Florida.
We're all here.
in the state of Florida.
Oh,
Got it. Not in Florida.
Gentlemen, let's go ahead and open up our show with a cheers. I don't know if
Sorry,
John
I gotta
has.
work. Just got some ginger ale. Sorry, I gotta work it more.
Is that Sprite?
Ginger ale.
Ginger ale.
Oh.
He's out. Whoa, whoa.
Very nice, very nice. Folks, if you're new to the show, we are an NFL and NBA podcast. Officially can say that again now that both are back in full swing. We do the show every Wednesday night at 9:30 p.m. Eastern time, so be sure to tune in if you want to join the conversation live. If not, the replay always goes up immediately on YouTube and then the next day on the podcast platforms. So if you click the first link down in your podcast description, you will be taken to the replay on the YouTube channel. So be sure to subscribe to the channel. Hit the like button. It helps the channel grow, helps more people find us. And you'll be notified to tune in next week at Wednesday, 9:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So yeah, we are going to hop into our recap of week 7 in the NFL. A lot has happened in the last week. This year is just zipping on by. But we are going to start off with, I think, the Lions and the Vikings. So, I'm sorry, that's the next game. Chiefs and the 49ers. Just making sure everyone's paying attention. The Chiefs won 28-18. It's the final score in a kind of a ugly game for San Francisco with dudes going down left and right. But June, we're going to start with you. How concerned should the San Francisco fans be on a scale of 1 to 10?
Oh, they should be at an 8 right now. I mean, this team is what we said in the beginning. It was going to be the Super Bowl hangover. We all four said it. There was no doubt it was coming for this team. They've been getting lucky the last couple of years, and they've been missing out on injuries. They've been missing out. You know, they've had some great teams. They've had that great run, but now the injuries are starting to catch up with them. I know they said something about McCaffrey was activated, but won't play this week. I couldn't read the whole story, but Brandon Ayuk, even though he was not, let's put it out there. Brandon Ayuk did not produce at all this season, but he still garnered attention for the other guys because he's still Brandon Ayuk. They're not going to have that guy on the field anymore. So we're going to see how Brandon Jennings does as the number 2 guy right now because he got a lot of balls thrown to him because Kittles, Debo, and Ayuk got a lot of attention. Now we're going to see when they have to go to him. What are you going to do when you're not going to get that, that number 4 cornerbacks taking you anymore? you're going to have the number 2 guy. Okay, so now we're going to see what Brandon Jennings can do. They got a lot of injuries. They got a lot to be concerned about, and they should be concerned about how good their division is playing. Some of the teams in the division don't have the best record, but it is still a very, very competitive division, and anybody can win it. So if I'm San Francisco 49ers fan, I'm sitting on tilt right about now.
Malin.
Yeah, it's got to be like an 8 or a 9, only because we talked about before the season, like, what does this Niners team look like if they get hit with the injury bug? Mm-hmm. We talked about it because of the lack of depth. And when we talked about lack of depth, it was because you didn't really have to see a whole lot of backups play the last couple of years. When Brock Purdy has Ayuk, when he has Samuel, when he has McCaffrey, when he has Kittle, when he has Trent Williams, when all of them are healthy, I don't think they lost a game last year. When one of them is out, 2 of them are out, completely different story. You're seeing him make decisions he normally wouldn't make because he's now having to throw wide receivers open versus them already being open. Mason is not the equivalent of McCaffrey. I don't care what Niners fans were saying the first couple of weeks of the year. McCaffrey is just a different beast. If you looked at his NFL timeline, it was time for him to have an injury. I don't think he made it 2 seasons back to back without an injury. So it was time for him to kind of have one. They're all in right now. I mean, you've paid a lot of money to players that aren't playing. So this is the year they got to win it because they're going to have to start paying Purdy. Because he was a 7th round pick, so I think he's eligible after this year for a contract. So you're gonna have to pay him if you want to keep him. You just paid a lot of money to Ayuk. You don't know when he's coming back and what he's going to be like. You didn't want to use him anyways. Arthritis does not go away. You can handle it, you can manage it, but it doesn't go away. So you got question marks from McCaffrey. Deebo Samuel, I don't know, man. It's got pneumonia or something like that. He's in the hospital right now, so he'll be back. But just a lot of questions about this team. No one saw them being 3-4, but no one saw them with all these injuries. So if they're fully healthy, they're one of the best teams in football. Not fully healthy, question marks galore.
Go ahead, Nestor.
Yeah, I'll be quick on this one. I think a 9, just because of the many injuries they're experiencing, and I think this is just all going to amount to pretty much the same thing as just going back to the playoffs and then losing the first round or second round. I just feel like they're gonna put pressure on Brock Purdy. He's not gonna be able to handle it, and they're gonna lose. So this team is just all over the place. Defense is holding up pretty well, all things considered, but they're just offense is all over the place. And like Millen said, that what McCaffrey has is not going to go away. So they got pretty big concerns.
Yeah, I'm on the same wave. I've got them at an 8 right now. If you are a 49er fan, it's not looking good because, like we've all been saying, the injury bug that they were able to dodge for the most part for the past year or 2 has caught up with them, and they're a top-heavy team. So now Brock Purdy is forced to win games being Brock Purdy, and it's not looking too hot. The only reason I wouldn't put him at a 10, to be honest, is because Kittle is still there. If he gets hurt, I think it's full tilt, like panic button slam, because that's that at that point. So he's what's keeping those last 2 points for me. But yeah, I think 49ers fans have legit concern because all these injuries are like legit. Who knows when McCaffrey's going to come back? The Ayuk injury is really bad. Like a lot of these dudes, good chance we're not going to see them again.
They've been like the poster boy for how this season has gone as far as like injuries.
Yeah.
There's been a ton of injuries, and they've had it the worst.
Yeah. But yes, a lot of Brock Purdy criticism as of late, but I mean, to be expected. Like, this is kind of what happens when you don't have your top tier weapons there and you're being graded on what you do without them. So it is what it is. All right. Let's move into the next game here, which was the Lions and the Vikings. Only one undefeated team now because the Vikings went down. Only the Chiefs. This was a great game on Sunday. But June, we will start with you. After this win, do you think that the Lions are the best team in the NFL?
No, absolutely not. They're not the best team. They're at the top. They're at the top.
Fuck Detroit,
You still
man.
got Kansas City. You still have Kansas City and Baltimore on the other side of that coin. So they're the best two teams in the league. I mean, Detroit Detroit with the team that they got to play. It's only going to get harder for this team. I mean, Minnesota was playing great. Do I believe in Sam Darnold? Hell, I might after this season. But right now, they got to play Green Bay, that's playing excellent. Chicago, my God, is playing great. And Minnesota was playing great. And they survived the first test, but they still got two other tests to go. And they got to play all of these teams twice. So by the end of the season, how beat up is Detroit going to be when it goes into the playoffs? Because that's a top heavy conference right now. Dare I say that the NFC North is the best conference. It's the best division in football right now. All four of those teams can beat pretty much a lot of teams in the NFL. That's a good division. It goes back to that old black and blue division. Just beat up on everything. So hats off to them, but Detroit's not the best team. I still pick them to go to the Super Bowl, but they still got to show me more if they want to win a Super Bowl.
Malin.
I mean, it's hard because Kansas City's undefeated, but Kansas City hasn't looked like Kansas City. And I'm starting to agree with a little bit with some of these games where they're getting these calls in the fourth quarter that help them out tremendously. Starting to look Patriot-esque with Tom Brady.
You mean the Tuck rule? The Phantom.
I just think that whenever Patrick Mahomes makes a bad throw at a 3rd and 15 with 3 minutes left in the game, there's always a hold or a PI or something to bail them out. It just always happens, man. Like, and it's not even funny anymore. Like, we laugh about it, but it's like we just expect it.
Yeah.
Jalen and I just saw the Ravens firsthand this last week. I mean, they were scoring so many touchdowns. Jalen and I didn't even realize it inside the stadium that Lamar Jackson had thrown for 5 touchdowns in the game. Like, we were like, God damn! Like, they're just putting up points. Defense wavered a little bit at the end against, Tampa, made it a little bit more of a game than what it should have been. But the Lions, listen, they've beaten 3 NFC West teams. And then they beat the Cowboys. It should be like a Division III school. And then they beat Minnesota. None of them are great teams. They've only beaten 2 teams with a winning record. And when they beat Seattle, like they knocked us to, I think, like 3-2 at the time. So, I mean, the Rams and Arizona. And I'm sorry, like Dallas just has not been playing well. So I don't really feel like they've been tested that much. But I will say that their last 3 games, that offense has scored over 30 points and over 40 points twice. That offense is going crazy. Montgomery, Gibbs. I still think Gibbs is better than Montgomery. I don't know why they signed Montgomery that multi-year deal. The defense still got to show me a little bit of something with Hutch being out. I think that injury to him is going to hurt that defense a little bit. But I mean, if they're not one, you got to at least give them 2A or 2B. I mean, they got to be right there with Baltimore, in my opinion. If they're not number one, it's hard to knock Kansas City because they're undefeated. They've won all their games. I don't care if they have help or not. And meanwhile, they're winning while Mahomes is looking terrible. So if he starts actually playing good and Kelsey decides to drop a few pounds, there's no telling what Kansas City could do. So yeah, I got them at either 2A or 2B. They're a very solid football team. There's a reason why a lot of people picked them to go to the Super Bowl, to go deep in there. So we'll see what happens.
Nestor.
Go. I don't think they're the best team in the NFL. Yeah, the Hutchinson injury is going to hurt them. I just wonder about once they get into the playoffs, because it's just a different animal. You start, talking about different aspects of the game where the Chiefs have it down to a science of paying the refs. I mean, just doing everything correctly. But I just feel like, the Ravens are better at the moment, and they're going to figure out some things, especially with defense, that it's just going to put them just one step above the Lions. So because they have their running game figured out, Lamar Jackson is playing out of his mind. Passing is great. Everything's going great for them. They just need to get the defense a little bit up to speed. Once that happens, I just feel like if you put some pressure on Jared Goff, you're going to dismantle his team a bit. So I hope, everything considered, I hope they get far. I hope we get something different than Chiefs and insert this other team is going to lose because they can't pay refs in the Super Bowl. But hopefully we get something interesting in the Super Bowl. This season has not been great.
If it's Chiefs refs, that was my Super Bowl prediction, was Chiefs
refs.
Lions. Chiefs refs. Sorry, there's a Pavlovian slip there. I don't think that the Lions are the best team. I do think it's still the Chiefs, because I do think it's like the Chiefs and then just kind of everybody else. But like Malin said, I think the Lions are probably 2A, 2B with Baltimore. But the Lions they're a really well-rounded team. Like out of all the teams that are kind of at the top there, they've got great offense. I think the second-ranked offense, kind of a middle-of-the-pack defense. Special teams they're good on, and coaching. Dan Campbell's a great coach. I think he's really proven that over these past couple of years. Players love him. He's an aggressive head coach. He's gonna go all out as if every game's a Super Bowl. But it's working for the most part. So I gotta give credit where credit's due.
My question is this. So I got one question to add on to this. Do you trust? We've seen an iteration of Jared Goff in the Super Bowl. We saw how bad that was. That man played like shit under pressure. I don't know if it was because the Patriots were that good, because I don't think the Patriots were that great that season.
You had it right.
They didn't have a great team, but the Rams had a outstanding team that year. But Jared Goff just shit the bed. So do we trust Jared? I trust him through the playoffs, but do you trust him in the big game? I don't know.
I do.
I trust him for this reason. Outside of the Eagles Super Bowl with the Patriots, if you give Bill Belichick 2 weeks to scheme against anybody, he shuts down great offense. Whatever. He shuts down offense. They shut the Rams down. My Seahawks, for the better part, yes, they scored 24 points in that Super Bowl, Super Bowl 49. But Bill Belichick finds a way to take the best part of your offense out of the equation. There wasn't a running game for Seattle. You could not run the ball. Look what they did in the second half against Atlanta. Bill Belichick in the Super Bowl, defensive mind, and let's not count out the fact that he won 2 Super Bowls defensive coordinator for the Giants up against high-powered offenses. So I mean that's the only reason why I'd still give him a pass is that Bill Belichick up against a great offense, he's usually going to win. Win. And I think Jared Goff has become a lot better quarterback outside of McVay's system there. And at the same time, can we all just how wrong was everybody about Dan Campbell? He had that introductory press conference about biting off kneecaps, and we all laughed at him. We all had fun. They had a bad first year, and then all of a sudden, everything started to come together last year, and he's created an identity for that team that I didn't know was possible to create in Detroit. I didn't think it was possible to get this team where it's at. A snake-bitten franchise just as much as Cleveland.
Right.
Except they're better run right now. So kudos to him. That man's crazy. And if I ever see him in person, I'll apologize for being mean because he'll kill me. Yeah.
He's a big man.
Big man.
Shoulder is like the size of the man's head.
His fucking traps are like the size of my. One trap is bigger than my whole damn.
When he gets interviewed, it's just his shoulder. It's like, we gotta.
I'm talking about close and personal when he played for Dallas. He's just a huge individual.
You got to get the Hubble telescope in there for press conference.
I will say, I didn't think Montgomery would go off like he's gone off this season. I would think he would have got injured week 2, week 3, because he's such a workhorse. But that man is just. I'm sorry, man. What he did to Witherspoon, holy shit.
Hey.
I like Witherspoon.
Hey.
I was like, man.
He didn't.
Hey.
Got a concussion and a broken ankle.
Who? Witherspoon?
Witherspoon just ran into a brick wall.
Literally.
Well,
Witherspoon's fine.
Let's move on to the last game.
Just because Gibbs beat your ass in fantasy last week, Nestor. You ain't gotta be mean.
I wasn't trying to be mean. I was just saying, Montgomery. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know where that came from.
He's doing so well because he's
right
not
now.
on your fantasy team. That's why he's doing so well.
If I would have got him, torn ACL.
Probably ruptured a spleen or
You're welcome, Detroit.
All right, last game on the recap here. This was not yesterday, Monday night's game. Ravens and Bucks. Final score was 41-31. Bit deceiving. It was not really that close.
No, it was
not. June, did the Ravens expose the Bucks as the frauds that they truly are?
Yes. I mean, yes, they did. I mean, the Bucks are a good team, but they play in a weak division. They play in one of the worst divisions, in football. Even though Atlanta is having a good year, but they still get to play against Carolina and the Saints, and we see how the Saints have been doing lately. But yeah, I mean, the Bucks are still a good team. I think they'll still. If they don't make the playoffs, then I think that team will be broken up a little bit. But are they a good team? Would you put them in the top 10 right now? No, you would not put the Bucks in the top 10 in the NFL right now. They're just not. They're okay. They're a middle of the pack team. They can beat the teams they should beat, but when they go up against a real contender, they fold. And yes, that score shouldn't have been 41-31 because that game wasn't even close. I was shocked. I cut the game off. I was shocked when I saw the final score. What happened? But no, the Bucks are just a middle of the road team. It's that's all they are. So,
Malin.
I'll say no for this reason. Is that losing Mike Evans when they lost him early in the first quarter, not able to run the same type of offense. I mean, hell, they scored a touchdown, the Bucks did, before we even got to our seats. Now that might have been because you and I walked up alongside of the goddamn stadium 300 level to the seats on the side that we weren't supposed to be on, so we had to go back down. But yeah, they scored like within like the first like 3 minutes of the game, a touchdown, just bam, 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 bam down the field, and it looked like they were doing that again the second possession until I think there was like a sack or a holding call, and then you get Evans hurt in the end zone with a hamstring, and it just kind of felt like after that the offense couldn't get going. Now, I do think that the Bucs are going to start losing a lot of games for two reasons. One, their defense has been exposed a little bit, allowing over 25 points in the last 3 games. But I'm really concerned about this offense with no Evans with a hamstring injury, and Godwin going down with what was it, a dislocated ankle?
Ankle, yeah.
Yeah. Which 45 seconds left in the game, you're down by 10 points. You have no timeouts. Are you really going to be able to go 75 yards down the field, score a touchdown, and get an onside kick, and be able to get out of bounds again to kick a field goal? Like, it was stacked against you. I understand what the Bucs were doing, not wanting to quit, but Godwin getting hurt there has got to just be gut-wrenching to Bucs fans. They were outside their mind, outside the stadium. When we were walking back to Miller's to get to our car, most of the fans are like, why were we still pushing the ball? I mean, even Troy Aikman was like, everyone just wants the game to be over. Like, I remember Troy saying that. Everyone just wants the game to be over. And then Godwin gets hurt, and he was like, well, that's why everybody wants the game to be over, because injuries happen. But, I mean, hey, you know what? They beat Washington in the beginning of the season. Washington's a good football team with McDaniels there, and that was McDaniels' first game there. They beat the Lions. Not a lot of teams. I mean, they're the only team to beat the Lions this year. And we're saying that the Lions are like the second best team. But the difference is they're not as healthy as they were when they played the Lions. So their health, their defense is just going to end up getting tired. I mean, you have the Falcons, Kansas City, and San Francisco as your next 3. You could lose all of those with a lack of offense. You don't have the offensive personnel to do this. Now, if they had Evans and Godwin, I would put them up there as an opportunity to beat all 3 of those teams. I mean, Baker Mayfield leads the league in touchdown passes for a reason. But without your 2 best wide receivers, I just think it's too tall of a task. They could end up under 500 rolling into their bye week in week 11.
Nestor.
Yeah, it's sad that they're losing Evans and Godwin because I don't think they're frauds. I think they can get to they could have won their division. Now I feel like the Falcons are gonna make a good push and get into the playoffs. So it's sad because I like when Baker Mayfield is out there with no pressure, balling out. That's great. So it's a really tough loss against the Ravens at home, and that's gonna just take away a lot of the confidence for Baker. And the next 3 games, like Malin said, there are some tough games there, really tough games there. So the defense is one thing I was paying attention to a lot, especially with that game against the Ravens, because if they're going to pull out a win, defense had to come through, and last 3 or 4 games hasn't been good. So it's just sad, but it would be insane if they still pulled out winning the division. It'd be crazy.
Well, I mean, you can say, Jalen, if they do get Evans back in a few weeks, right? Because he's probably going to miss a couple weeks with a hamstring. Their last 7 games, tell me if this scares you. Okay? Giants, Carolina, Vegas, Chargers, Dallas, Carolina, New Orleans. Every single one of them teams is under 500.
Right.
Their last 7 games. So even if you get Evans back, but you don't have Godwin, because we know he's out for the whole year, I mean, that offense could still do something. I just think the next 3 weeks, they're probably going to suck ass. But they got an opportunity with these other 7 teams, man. That's got to be the easiest schedule the last 7 weeks of the season, right?
I would imagine. I also don't think that they're frauds. I do think that this is just a game where they got. And when you lose your two best wide receivers in the same game, it's pretty bad. And clearly Evans and Mayfield had a good connection. So him missing Evans, I think, is going to really, really hurt that team. So hopefully Mike Evans can get back out there as soon as possible. But hamstring thing, that's really touchy. So he'll probably be gone for a little while.
Well, this could be a good time for them to find a running game with these two guys out. If they want to be a team that wants to contend and be a serious team, they're going to have to run the ball at some point. And these next 3 weeks is that time to find you a running game, because that's what you're going to have to rely on.
I did just read, Jalen, that Todd Bowles did confirm on Tuesday that Evans will likely remain out through the Buccaneers' Week 11 bye. So he'll be out these next 3 games.
Yeah.
That's gonna be rough against those three teams.
They're talking about an uphill battle.
Falcons, Chiefs, and Niners.
If they can win, if they can go 1-2, they would be ecstatic. But I don't even see that happening. So I don't think they're frauds. Godwin and Evans, statistically speaking, were like two of the top wide receivers in the NFL up to this point, and Mayfield is like arguably the best quarterback in the NFL up to this point. So like they were grooving, and it's just unfortunate that the injuries hit them in the same game. So we'll see. Hopefully they can get back in the mix in the second half of the season. But let's move on to the next topic here. Before we get to our NBA predictions, I want to mention, if you are not in our Discord, which odds are you are not, it is linked in the description below. Free to join. Go ahead and hop on in there. We talk ball. Now it's almost every night with the NBA being back. So if you want to chit chat about what's currently going on within the NFL or the NBA, our Discord is linked down below. So we would love to have you there. And come talk shit. That's all we do. Now, let's get into the NBA. As of yesterday night, it is back. Always seems to creep up really, really fast every year. But the start of the new season kicked off with of course, the 18-time champions winning their opening game, raising the banner. Had some nice new uniforms or warm-up uniforms. Lakers also.
Somebody's got to do it. Might as well be us.
Lakers also getting a win against the Timberwolves. And, now we're in full swing with everybody else playing tonight. So what we're going to do here is predict who's coming out of the East, the West, and then who is winning MVP this year. Because this is always fun to do. I don't think anybody last year predicted that Jokic was going to win MVP. But some of us did pick the Celtics to come out of the East. And
win.
Right. So, June, we will start with you. Who is going to win the West this year?
The Mavericks are going to repeat the West champions as West champions. They added a much-needed piece to that team. I think Klay Thompson's got something to prove. This team is poised. I said at the end of the season last year, the Mavericks was missing a piece. Klay Thompson is that piece that they're missing to come out, and I think they'll repeat in the West.
Malin.
Yeah, I think it's hard not to pick Dallas. I think just the chemistry they have last year. I thought Irving was going to be like a locker room killer, but he actually played well. To me, the West is so even.
Mm-hmm.
It'd be a few. Well, when I say a few teams, I'm really saying like Denver or or Dallas. Those are really the only two teams, in my opinion. Take your son to work day with the Lakers. That's going to be a hype train all year long. But nobody really thinks Anthony Davis is going to score 36, 37 points a game. He'll be on IR on short notice after Game 5 if they keep using him like that. He's going to have an eyebrow sprain. So, yeah, I'm going to go with, in my opinion, one of the best shooters of the basketball. Two clutch shooters. Play well, stay injury free. I'm gonna go ahead and go with Dallas.
All right, Nestor.
I'm gonna take a page out of name is It's B Titty on TikTok. You know Carl. You know what CAT stands for? Carl ain't trustworthy. This man is not getting the Knicks anywhere. I'm gonna save you guys the trouble. Celtics are gonna win the NBA Finals.
We're talking about the West. The West. Who's coming out of the West?
Now, that's what I'm saying. I'm gonna save you guys the trouble. Celtics are gonna be champs from the West. I'm gonna go with a team that is unlikely, but the record says that they're a damn good team. They're just young. That's all they got. It's just they're young. A little bit more experience. They got it. And I can't stand Dallas being in the damn finals again to do absolutely nothing again. I'm sorry, June. Like I don't like. It's my problem is not the Dallas team, the Mavericks. It's my problem is this Kyrie Irving and duo that they got over there. I don't like it for some reason. Give me Oklahoma City. Give me OKC to go to the finals.
You son of a bitch.
Oh, gentlemen. I did want to pick OKC, I'm not going to lie, but I think they are a year out. Like, I think they'll make the Western Conference Finals this year, but not beat out who I think is going to come out of the West, which I don't think is the Mavs. If you do look at history here, we haven't seen, outside of like Golden State, we haven't seen a team repeat out of the West in quite a while. And I don't think that this year is going to change that. The Mavs, I honestly think that in the finals last year, Boston kind of exposed a good way to beat them, which is force Luka to give up the ball and let all those other guys beat you, which depending on the night, Kyrie may. He may. But that's not a guarantee.
Not in Boston anymore.
Right, you got that right. I'm sorry, but Klay Thompson, I don't see it. This smells like he should have gone to the Suns type deal. Like, I don't see what Klay Thompson has left in the tank. He'll have some games here and there, and it'll be a nice little cute story. But I don't see how Klay Thompson moves the needle that much on the Mavs. I really feel like this is the year for the Timberwolves to come out of the West. Ant-Man he's going to officially arrive. Like, I'm just going to spoil it. I think he's going to be the MVP this year. Now that Cat is not there, I think it gives him the opportunity to get a lot more touches on the ball, frees up the offense to run through him a bit more. And, DiVincenzo's there. He's a great shooter now. Timberwolves look like they're going to be a very, very good team. Luka and Kyrie will be very good, and they will pick up right where they left off. But a more well-rounded team, I look at Minnesota, and I think that's a better team than what Dallas is right now. So I'm gonna stick with Minnesota.
Watch boring ass Denver make us all look like idiots.
It's a real possibility. Hey, they got Russ now, so we're all in trouble.
All
right, in the
Joker
East,
had more time with his horses. He'll be fine.
Does anybody have a team other than the Boston Celtics coming out of the East?
I do.
Oh my God, June. What are we doing? What are we doing?
I mean, I know the Heat are good, but I mean, come on, dude.
Go ahead, Jude.
I'm playing. No, and they're going to be some contenders, and there's going to be a couple of teams that's going to challenge Boston. The
They ain't gonna be
Knicks and
close.
Milwaukee will challenge Boston. Philly will not. Philly will fold like a folding chair. But other than that, they will challenge Boston. Milwaukee may push them to a 7-game series in the East. But other than that, I think Boston is just too strong for the East right now. And this team, the way Boston is built right now, we may see we could see a 70-win team. That's how good Boston is. They may win 70 games this season.
Okay.
So I'm just saying that's what I think about them. That's how much I respect Boston after last season. Just seeing them come out this year and crank and just came out just looking like that team. This could be a 70-win team for Boston.
I'm saying it again, Jalen. I was only off by 8 games last year. 74 wins. 74 wins. We embarrassed the Knicks so bad last night. The last quarter and a half of the game, we were shooting for a 3-point record instead of trying to win the game because it wasn't in doubt. And we still beat them by over 20 points. And we missed our last 13 threes.
Right.
Because we had a bunch of scrubs in there just throwing up bricks, making homes for the needy. No, 74 wins, people. We'll have the best record in the East by 10. We'll have the best record in the East by at least 10 games going into the playoffs. And yeah, we won't have a 7-game series in the playoffs. Ain't none of these teams built to win the way that we can win. It's just not going to happen. I mean, I'll be overconfident. I'm not running it back.
It made me incredibly happy last night when seeing all of the same faces. Like, we have the same exact team from last year. And I'm like, let's go.
We don't need nobody else.
Right.
We don't need nobody else.
It's going to be good. And the fact that before we started putting up the brick show to try and break the record, we were shooting like 60% from 3-point last night.
Yeah, it was ridiculous.
Wild.
It was ridiculous.
Absolutely ridiculous. So yeah. All right, let's get to MVP here. June, tell us why Ant-Man is going to win MVP this year.
Yeah, he's not going to win this. That's going to be Giannis. He's going to come back and win the MVP. It's going to be Giannis. He has to win the MVP this year. He got embarrassed last year. He had his Robin, and he didn't show out like he thought he was going to. But after watching this game right now, I don't know if any of you was watching this game, but he looked good. He looked good. Did y'all just see James Harden fat ass? Take his shirt off. Sorry. Anyway.
God damn,
Anyway, it's going to be Antetokounmpo. That's his name. Close enough. Yeah, I'm thinking Giannis as the MVP this year.
Oh shit!
And dude just took his shirt off, his belly just popped out like mine did. You fat bastard.
Mainly kills.
I'm used to calling someone a fat son of a bitch, but I'm gonna have to start calling people a fat bastard again because that just sounds the way that June just called him. You look at that fat bastard. We'll say this, man. That arena looked nice.
Yeah,
it's kind of crazy just thinking how many toilets are on the other end of them goddamn catwalks out there. All kinds of toilets out there. Mom was really excited about that. All right, who's going to be MVP? Listen, there was one player that made the Olympic team and was then decided by Steve Kerr because of grudge that he wasn't good enough to play when they won gold. And this man decided to come out and go 14 of 18 with 37 points, 8 of 11 from 3. This is Tatum's year. This is Tatum's goofy ass haircut year. This is Tatum's year for MVP. Never should have cut his goddamn hair. Looks fucking 18 again. Looking like he's standing next to LeBron back in 2009 again at 18 years old. Should have done that, man. You got too big of teeth and too small of a forehead to shave your head like that, Tatum. Can't do it. Not a good look. But what is a good look is his 3, his presence on the court, shooting, shot selection. This man, I think you're going to see him and Brown put on a clinic this year. But if the Celtics are going to be who we think they are, one of these two is going to end up being the MVP, and I think it's going to be Tatum. So I love the fact that both of them got a chip on their shoulders because of the Olympics.
Yeah,
I love that. But yeah, I'm going Tatum. I'm going to do it.
Nestor.
He's gonna become him.
I would cut James Harden, man.
I'm gonna go with Luka. I don't care. I'm gonna go with Luka.
Okay. I already picked Ant-Man. I really did want to say Tatum. That was my second pick. The only reason I didn't, just because of how well-rounded Celtics are. I just don't know if he'll be able to have as many dominant performances as Anthony Edwards or Luka or somebody like that. But it's a great problem to have.
I just think that this year Tatum is going to establish himself as the unequivocal best player on the best team. I think he's right to have one of those types of years where everyone else is scoring 20, he's going to score 30. They're scoring 15, he's going to score 25, 26, 27.
Yeah.
I think this is going to be one of those years where you see Tatum just kind of take more authority because he wants a legacy. He wants a legacy.
Mm-hmm.
And the Celtics are primed for like a little bit of a special run here. So with that comes an MVP trophy to put on that case for him.
Yeah, I would love to see it happen because the performance he put on last night was just incredible. All right, let's get to our halftime break. It is about that time. June, we want to thank you for joining us for a great first half. Good to have you back. If you want to follow June on TikTok, it is linked down in the description below. Be sure to give him a follow if you are a NFL fan or more specifically a Cowboys fan. Be sure to give him a follow. When we come back, we will have the one, the only G Money on the other side. And we're getting some community comments talking about the Eagles and how CeeDee Lamb is not actually a top 5 wide receiver. Ride or Die in 5 comes after that, giving you 5 best betting picks this weekend, and that will be it. So we will be on break for about 10 minutes, and we will see you soon.
First down ball came out of his hand. That is a fumble, and it is scooped up. No, Now it's picked up. Still on his feet is Mack. And Khalil Mack to the 11-yard line. Trying to determine.
Gardner Minshew, what is this? What are we doing, man? I know it's week 1, but I could have done that. 2 big trades in the NFL today. Amari Cooper to the Bills. Devontae Adams officially a New York Jet. Which one of these 2 trades do you think is the bigger deal? I think it's Amari Cooper going to the Bills without a doubt. Amari is still one of those guys that gets slept on. Been in Cleveland the past several years, and obviously Cleveland's been pretty bad the past several years. But he's still a stud, and you know he's very happy to get out of that mess in Cleveland and go to a title contending team with Josh Allen throwing him the ball. You know Josh Allen's got to be happy. Amari Cooper's going to be a very big deal for Buffalo. Now moving on to the Jets. I'm sorry, but I don't see it. Don't get me wrong, they're better off having Devontae Adams. Like, is he suddenly going to be the U-turn this team needs? No. I don't know. It just seems like it's kind of rehashing the same series of events for Devontae Adams. Hell, well, that's the end of our walk. But hey, best of luck to Devontae Adams. He got out of a bad offense, and now he's into a reality TV show. What do you guys think? Which team is going to be better off with their new wide receiver? Leave a comment below.
Stepping back and he's going deep. He's caught Burrow. Full race. Driving. 36. Oh,
By 10 a.m., they had his hand behind his back, and then he got a celebration going with his hand behind his back.
Take a shot. Too much on. Rise up. Oh, come on, let's go. Somebody got to win. Who wants it? How bad do you want it? Oh, you got it. Here we go. Right line. Oh, not tonight, sir.
Dak Prescott.
Dak Prescott's going to be an MVP this year. He needs to be paid. He wants to be a Cowboy for life. So Dak is going to go all out this season.
Tua for MVP. If we get to the Super Bowl, Tua had to win MVP. So I'm going to go with Tua.
Joe Burrow's going to be on a mission this year. Comeback season right out the gate. Stop my Patriots week 1.
Well, I just walked 2 miles with this damn stadium.
Can I get a Miller Lite, man?
Okay. I like your shirt.
It's like $18. We're Road G, seat 2122. And LSU.
I apologize. Old drinks.
You're good. I want to know what happened to Baltimore's defense. Bucks ain't this good.
Incomplete. 3rd and goal.
Technically, it's 101st.
Holding. Bring that shit back. You're a wizard.
$1 more would have gotten you a highlight.
They conned us. They conned us into this.
That's some bullshit.
Excuse me, sir.
Sorry, sir.
There's a lot of elderly Ravens fans right here.
Yes, the Baltimore Colts marching band back when they used to have a marching band.
A lot of popcorn. Well, there goes our points.
Why are you so mad, man? Let's go into the exit.
Henry on the carry, held down by Levante David. Second and 11 at the 41.
You lucked out with Brady. Three.
Last shit don't matter. Better get before
So you bet me 4-3?
Yeah, we 4-3, and we gonna win our division. Y'all will not.
No, you're not even number one.
Atlanta's way better than you crazy.
Oh shit! Atlanta's way better.
So some people decided to get some hate on my take. CeeDee Lamb, not top 5 wide receiver in the NFL. Your boy currently 32nd in the league in receptions, number 10 in yards, 35th in touchdown. That doesn't sound elite. There's 32 teams in the NFL, and this man is below 32 in 2 out of 3 major categories. So go ahead, Cowboys fans. Blame Dak, blame McCarthy, but your boy CeeDee Lamb is not even a top 30 wide receiver in 2 out of 3 categories in the NFL.
I'm so tired of this narrative. They play like ass in the first half. Their defense keeps them in the game. And then in the second half, Nick Sirianni finally realizes, maybe I should do what my players are actually good at. We have Saquon Barkley. Hey, Jalen Hurts, maybe you shouldn't keep patting the ball in the pocket and just looking for A.J. Brown. Maybe we should spread the ball around, and then that in turn will free up A.J. Brown. Are they finally figuring it out? No, they still have a fraud at head coach, which, by the way, him and Doug Peterson need to be up out of there yesterday. And it takes an entire half of football for Sirianni to pull his head out of his ass and do away with that trash playbook or whatever he's using in the first half and finally decide, I have arguably the most talented offense in the NFL. Maybe we should just call common sense plays. If you go back and look at all of their games, they have not scored a single point in the first quarter of any game. You know how bad you gotta be? Again, this is a roster with Saquon, Jalen Hurts, A.J. Brown, Devontae Smith. They are who they are. Unfortunately, they got a sorry head coach, which is in turn making them a sorry team.
Here again over here at Mills Ale House, AFR with you guys. Bucks fan here. We're here for Monday Night Football. Barry and Rashad, I want to hear from you guys.
Shit, two defense are good. 28-21.
Bucks gonna come out on top. 24-26.
Is Baker gonna bet? You think Baker over
250 passing yards?
No. They're loyal, but they ain't that loyal. Garrett, who do you think is gonna win? Ravens.
I was a season ticket holder here for 7 years. Gave him up this year. Not buying it.
He's obviously a Ravens fan.
27-24. I got Ravens winning it. What amount of points are going to score tonight? I think Baker's going to bake. He hasn't played the Ravens defense yet.
If you stay ready, you ain't got to get ready. I'm bringing that slogan to y'all from Louisville, Kentucky. I'm affiliated with the PSP boys, the professional shit poppers out here. 21-14 Ravens. You're looking at the Super Bowl champs in 2024 this year. We're going to take it home, baby. And we're going to run it back on this. ...2024 this year, we're going to take it home, baby. And we're going to run it back on this.
Welcome back, folks. Welcome back to the second half of the show. We have got the one, the only G Money here with us. G Money, how are you, good sir?
Yeah, I tell you, they can do dental surgery on me, but they are not stopping me from doing this show. They may tell me no alcohol. They may tell me baby food, but fuck them if they tell me no AFR.
There you go. Spider-Man, turn your camera, dude.
My bad. I'm charging my phone, guys. My bad.
Don't worry, G Money. We will drink for you. This second half shot is for our one and only G Money, who is being held back tonight. Doctor's
I drink water.
The fact that Nestor's taking shots and G Money's
Yeah.
being told he can't drink. That's wild.
I know.
Strange day.
It is indeed. It is indeed.
All right. We are going to start things off. We're going to start things off with community comments. Only 2 videos to get to this week. But this is where we read some of the comments that you guys left us over the past week and reply. Yes, we're going to start off with the Eagles video. So on, I think that was Monday, I made a video basically calling out the Eagles as frauds, not because of the players, but because of their coaching. I firmly believe that team is a house of cards, and I think it's because of Nick Sirianni. So the comments on TikTok as followed. There was a pretty good mix here, but Rio, shout out to Rio, friend of the show, says, hasn't won a playoff game without Steichen and Gannon. He did nothing except choose good coordinators in 2022. I don't disagree with a word. Jamie says, absolutely. Kellen isn't running the offense. That's but his game plan out there. Game design is my passion, says Nick is a guy that loves explosive plays. Just crazy he forgot we have the best coached offensive line in the league and a generational talent at running back. Jake says this is not Kellen Moore's offense, which leads me to believe Brian Johnson was a scapegoat last year. Nicholas says I'm pretty positive it was 14-3 at the half. Oh, I was saying they haven't scored a single point in any first quarter this season. And he's saying that it won't matter because they're going to figure it out eventually. Sure they will, Nick. You probably know, says, I don't even watch the Eagles. Makes me mad that they can do so little with such a great team on paper. Jay says, you really a hater. Yep. JP says, I'm tired of people like you pushing narratives. Like, come on. Yep. Isaac says, you reaching. Michael says, what's crazy though? You explain what a good team is: good defense, good offense, and the special teams. People who do know sports need to stay off the app. I think he meant not. Yes, Michael, you should not be on here. IR says everyone's a fraud according to the internet. And then JC says it's Hurts. He's trash.
What is a good offense though? I mean, their offense is Saquon Barkley. But they've only scored over 22 points, I think, 3 times this year.
And they've played some ass teams.
Yeah, I mean, I get it. You beat Green Bay week 1.
Right.
But that was in Brazil.
Right.
That was a weird game. It's week 1. Offenses don't really know what's happening. You know what I mean? But then you beat the Saints, the Browns, and the Giants. You're not beating world beaters out here.
Right.
You lost to the Falcons in Tampa Bay. And everyone is touting the NFC North is such a great division, yet you're losing to the 2 best teams in the NFC South. So, I mean, it's just this whole NFC East is wildly inconsistent and bad. where I think Washington is still leading the division, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know. I just think it's Saquon or bust at this point. If he has a good game, you're going to win. If he has a bad game, you're going to lose. Unless you're playing the Browns. Because I think Saquon only had like 50 yards rushing that game. But anybody could beat the Browns. Well, the Deshaun Watson led Browns. We'll see what Jameis Winston can do. Because Nick Chubb's back now, too. So they might actually rip off a few games. But yeah, the Eagles, I mean, I think he's a little bit better than just hiring two good coordinators in 2022 or whatever it was when they went to the Super Bowl. I think he had a little bit more than just hiring coordinators, but they haven't been the same since then. And I've been saying it since the Super Bowl that Jalen Hurts is not a top 10 quarterback in the NFL.
He's not looking
saying it the whole time. And he's been proving me right ever since.
Yeah. All right, let's move on to the next video. So this was like a follow-up video to one we made in the offseason, where Malin was making the case that CeeDee Lamb is not a top 5 wide receiver. And people in that video had a field day just going in and saying that basically Malin's an idiot and CeeDee Lamb is a top 5 wide receiver. So here we are.
Well, can I give a little bit of context, though, and say what the video basically says?
Right. Go ahead.
Okay. So I think that he is 11th in yards, 32nd in receptions, and 35th in touchdowns. Meanwhile, still being top 5 in targets. So none of those are top 5. None of them. So they can hate on me all they want. But CeeDee Lamb is making me right and making you guys have to look stupid. So what do they have to say in the comments?
I'm realizing now a lot of these comments is one argument between two people. But T Wolves and 4 says Jefferson, Tyreek, Jamar, Devontae, Nico Collins are the top 5, which I'm assuming.
No.
Is he going just by numbers there? But at the same time, why would Tyreek be in there?
You can't go by numbers with Tyreek and Adams in there.
Right. Anyway, SP4, he says CD is a top 3 talent, but there's literally no one the defense focuses on. That's on the Cowboys. Sorry, there's literally one the defense focuses on. That's on the Cowboys. Lions said it themselves. Once we slow down CD, there's no one else to sport about. He's obviously a Cowboys fan, if you can't.
I knew somebody was going to say it.
And then him says CD is not that good, and I'm a Cowboys fan. I would rather have T and Chase. And then him and SP4, the previous guy, got into this winded argument. Yeah.
You know what's crazy is that Godwin led the league in receptions.
Yeah.
And was number 2 in yards and number 3 in touchdowns before he got hurt.
Yep. Yeah, that's what I was saying earlier. The Bucks were having
Godwin
a great year.
I mean, Evans was right there with him as far as touchdowns and yards, but he only had 26 receptions. Godwin had 50 catches.
Yeah. It's crazy.
50 catches. I mean, Bowers, the tight end with the Raiders, it's crazy that he has 47. Garrett Wilson, and then Drake London. I think his name is Drake, right? Not Derek, right? It's Drake. Okay. I have a problem with seeing an initial and calling him by the wrong name. London there, Robinson with the Giants at 43. Then he got Diggs at 42. So I mean, like, he's all the way down the goddamn list. He's number 18 right now in receptions after Sunday. That's crazy. That's definitely top 5 material. Wild. What we got going on there. And number 10 in yards, and you know what? I think he still only has let's see. Yes, he only has 2 touchdowns. Now he's 37th in touchdowns. So mighty wow. Crazy. Meanwhile, people like Lazard has 5.
Right.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Top 5 wide receiver. Top 3 talent, though. That one Cowboys fan says. That's great. Because we go on talent alone. Talent is what we measure people by, not by what they actually do on the field.
Effort.
That's right.
All right.
Yeah, gotta have that effort.
Let's go
Jeez.
to the best segment here. This is the Ride or Die in 5, folks. This is where you come to make a bit of money throughout your week. When things are going bad, stop on in here on a Wednesday night, usually around 10:45-ish. And we go ahead and give you we give you some money making tips. So last week, Malin and I went 3-2. G Money and Nestor went 4-1. So an all around profitable week. Yeah.
You know, I do want to give a shout out real quick. I do want to give a shout out to G Money and Nestor on this. Is that I believe when we started the Ride or Die last year, they were like in the teens as being plus, or maybe even like single digit plus.
Yeah.
And you and I have always been around the 40s and 50s. You and I have been hanging around 500, but Nestor and G Money are now plus 32 and plus 27 after a year and like a month of football. Like they have been picking some good games, and I know they went 4-1 last week. We went 3-2, and like I said it during the game, Jalen, I was more than happy to be wrong about that Bucks game. To be able to see the absolute carnage that I saw unfold in that stadium, I was there for it. If I was going to be wrong about a game, I'm glad it was that one. I will gladly take the L on that one. But also say that I told everybody that my Seahawks were not going to lose Kirk Cousins. Nobody believed me.
Damn.
Do not lose to Kirk Cousins. But yeah, 3-2 and 4-1. That's the second week in a row we've all been above 500.
When you put it
So there we
that
go.
way.
We are going places, gentlemen.
All right, let's make that a third week this week. Jesus. All right, let's start off with tomorrow night's game. We've got the Vikings, who were just humbled, going against the Rams. This is in LA. Rams are 2.5-point underdogs at home. G Money, what do you like here?
You know, on paper, Vikings look like the best team in this matchup. They do, but they're not playing the game on paper. They're playing it out on the field. And I like to follow trends. And here's a trend. Since 2006, when they started back up Thursday Night Football, teams from the Eastern Standard Time, Central Standard Time, that went out west are 4-14-2 against the spread. And 2 of those wins were when Aaron Rodgers was in his MVP chase. So just remember that 4-14-2 against the spread. Here's another trend. This is this year's trend. Every team following the next week after they played Detroit have lost. Even the Cowboys, they lost in their bye week because the coach and the owner were arguing about the offense, which everybody knows is non-existent.
I love it.
So give me the Rams and 2.5 points.
Okay. G Money going deep in the playbook to bring out the time zones against the spread.
That is deep. That's some stuff I used to do a couple years ago, Jalen. Right, earning the nickname Patty McStats a while ago. That is wow. It almost makes me second guess my pick a little bit.
Right. It did briefly, but then I came back down to earth. I'm going to stick with the Vikings to cover the 2.5 points. I mean, they're just the better team here in this situation. Sam Darnold's having a hell of a year. The Rams still beat up. I mean, Cooper Kupp is still out as far as I know. Puka Nacua is still out as far as I know. So give me the Vikings. And the fact that the Rams aren't even getting the 3 points they should at home, I'm going to take the Vikings to cover. So, Malin.
Okay. Hear me out. I'm taking the Rams. I'm going to take the Rams. First of all, G-Money, that stat swayed me a little bit. It did, because that was a hard-fought game against Detroit. Now they got to come around on a Thursday night and play again. And they have a lot of expectations now where they didn't early in the year. And we're all talking about how Sam Darnold is having a great year, but when I looked at the stats, he's 17th in passing. He's tied for 5th in touchdowns, but he also has 5 interceptions, and his QBR is 18th in the league. So he's essentially like a top 15 quarterback right now. I only looked up Sam Darnold's stats because there were rumors out there that the Rams and Vikings are looking into a trade for Matthew Stafford. Which is wild when they play on Thursday. But when I first heard it, I was like, why would the Vikings want to mess up what they got going on with Darnold? Well, the reason why is because Darnold does not play good in the fourth quarter. He's got some great stats in the first half, bad stats in the second half. And I think that undefeated record was kind of shielding a little bit of his not bad play, but mediocre play. And so I'm going to go ahead and take the home team with the plus 2.5 and just kind of ride that wave because we all said it, right? We all said that we don't trust the Vikings and they're not who we thought they were. And so I'm going to ride this. That last week might be a little bit of that beginning of the fall. And I'm going to go ahead and go with the Rams on this one. And Matt Stafford maybe put something on tape for these Vikings to want to give up like a 3rd-round pick for him or something like that. And then we'll see what the hell happens with the Vikings after that. But I'm going to go ahead and take the Rams on this one.
Nestor.
I'm going to stick to my guns on this one. I'm not trying to change my answer. Cooper Kupp is coming back.
Are you believing
the Rams
that?
have something to do with Tyler Williams?
No, he actually is coming back.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay.
The Rams, their O-line is a little bit jacked up, but I feel like they're a pretty good team and they're playing at home. That being said, you know who has Cooper Kupp on his team? You know who has Tyler Williams on his team?
Oh, goddamn.
I have Cooper Kupp. I'm going to tell you what. Cooper Kupp is going to have a slow week back. I'm going to give this to Minnesota. I have to. I think their defense is great. Brian Flores does wonderful things. It's going to be enough. It's going to be just about enough. That 2.5 is just enough for me to just give it to the Minnesota Vikings. They're frauds, but they're not that much of a fraud.
They're a 2.5 point fraud.
You know,
yeah.
I really need Kupp to beat Kupp in this game because when I look at Matt Stafford and his only 3 touchdowns this season,
oh Jesus,
it makes me nervous. But he didn't have Nacua or Kupp, so please Stafford, do something. Be my friend.
All right, next game Sunday at 1:00. We've got the Eagles going to Cincinnati, where the Cincinnati Bengals are 2.5 point favorites at home. I will go first here. Listen, folks, I did not just call the Eagles frauds for no reason. The Bengals are a better football team. I know they've been kind of strange this year and playing games tighter than they really should. But I'm going to pick them to cover the 2.5 points against the Birds. I'm sorry. The Eagles, again, like we said earlier, all their wins have come against bad teams. The Bengals are a good team. I know they're not playing up to the level that they should be, but at the same time, come on, 3 points. The Bengals, give me that. Malin.
Yeah, that's. I'm gonna go Bengals. I'm gonna go Bengals because even though that defense for Cincinnati has been mediocre, Burrow's completing 70% of his passes. Chase is coming on. That run, the running game for Cincy has been coming on. So I'm gonna go ahead and go with. I'm gonna go with Cincy. I'm not that confident in it. Really not. Just because this is one of those games where the Eagles could pull some stupid ass rabbit out of their hat. You know what I mean? Like, it's one of those trap games for you call a team a fraud, you think they're a fraud, you know they are, but Cincy has not necessarily been playing up to standard, you know. But I think Cincy needs this game in a bad way. They need to start ripping off some wins the way they started. And so a 3-game winning streak means a lot more to them right now. Because after that, you got the Raiders, but then you got Baltimore. They need every win they can get. They're sitting at 3-4 right now. I know that Philly's 4-2, but I still feel it's fraudulent. I'm gonna go ahead and take Cincy with 2.5 points. Jalen, I still think you're an asshole for some of these games you pick. You're a little bit of an asshole. A little bit.
Whatever is on 5.
I'm telling you right now, out of all these games, this is the one that's going to make me the most upset if I'm wrong on. Bengals, please handle your business. You're better than the Eagles. Simple as that.
Just do it at home, man. You're at home. Just handle business.
If the Eagles win, I'm going to end up in some intersection.
Nestor, why don't you tell us every reason why Philly should win, yet you're going to still pick the Bengals? Go ahead.
All right. You know, it's just I just feel like when you go toe to toe with the Bengals offense, it's really hard to keep up. We saw that with that game against the Chiefs. If you don't have the defense to stop them, you're gonna have a hard time trying to match them on offense. And that's why I'm going to go with the Philadelphia Eagles, because the Eagles have Saquon Barkley. They just have Saquon Barkley. And another thing, the Bengals running game is trash. It is complete trash. The way they switched from Zach Moss to Chase Brown, and Chase Brown is still kind of like that. Like, I've never seen, this probably has to be one of the worst running games in the league. Like, I think if you look at stats, you could probably
Brown has a 5-yard average. Brown is averaging 5 yards.
And it looked like that last game.
How many times is he touching the ball, though?
He's touched it 66 times.
God.
66 times. Moss had it 69 for a 3.3. I'm just saying that Brown is averaging 2 more yards a carry than Moss was. There's a reason why they switched to him.
I know there's a reason why they switched to him. I just think they're still both trash. But regardless of that, I think Najee Harris is better, by the way. But than both of them. But and Najee's on the damn parlay list.
I'm just saying, Burrow completed 70% of his passes, 14 touchdowns, 2 interceptions.
I love when I mentioned Najee Harris. It was like, all right, hold on, let's settle down.
Let's stay on track.
Calm down to earth.
I'm not even talking about the damn Steelers.
I like Philly. Honestly, I hate their coaching. I hate it, but I like Philly because the Bengals, when I saw them against the Giants, I saw a lot of things that I did not like. And Philly has this way of pulling out these games that they have no business pulling out. Give me Philly.
G Money.
Yeah, I think that the one thing that concerns me with Cincinnati is their rush defense. They're giving up an average of 136 yards a game. That's concerning. With them having to pay Saquon, right? I mean that's a little concerning.
Yeah, but Nestor just pointed it out, so that means that Saquon's going to get hurt this week.
No, I have Chase Brown, so he's gonna get hurt. And Zach Moss.
And Zach Moss. Both their running backs are getting injured. But I tend to think that Cincinnati will pull it out at home and cover the 2.5. I think it will end up being like something like 24 to 30 Cincinnati. I think that's my thought. It's the final score. And Saquon will have like 135 yards, 140 yards of rushing and a touchdown. Maybe even 2 touchdowns. But Jalen Hurts isn't that quarterback. And he hasn't shown it this year. Didn't show it last year. Hell, even the year before, So, give me Cincinnati minus the 2.5.
All right. Let's move into the next game. Another 1:00 game. Ravens let's make this easy. Ravens 8.5-point favorites on the road against the Browns. Is anybody here taking the Browns and the 8.5 points?
I mean, Jameis would. I'm just kidding.
No,
that's an easy one.
I feel weird about it though, man. I feel weird with the 8.5 points.
Hey, Nick Chubb is back.
Baltimore just coming. Hey, I'm just saying, like the only
Garrett Wilson. Not Garrett Wilson. What's his name? Myles Garrett. My bad, Myles Garrett.
Was anyone thinking about taking Cleveland? Because I almost took Cleveland with the points.
I thought about a lot of things. A lot of things came to mind today. Never was the Browns and the points on one of those things.
I think the first half is going to be closer than we think, but the second half, Ravens are going to take off.
I don't think any half's going to be close, but
how bad do you got to be an NFL football team to be an 8.5-point underdog at home? That is. Again, I think that's also a little bit of a Vegas thing, to where Vegas is trying to get people to bet the other team. I mean, but there is some unknowns. Like if Deshaun Watson this year. I'm just saying, if Deshaun Watson was still the quarterback and Nick Chubb wasn't playing, it'd be a no-brainer. You're taking that points. It just gave me a little bit of a cause to pause. The uncertainty of having Nick Chubb and Jameis Winston out there. Could they score some points? But they're not going to. Not enough. I mean, Lamar Jackson. We saw firsthand, Jalen, that offense. There's a reason why G Money is undefeated in fantasy in our league right now with Derrick Henry and Lamar Jackson.
This man does not
get the shit out of everybody. Just beating the shit out of everybody, man. I mean, G Money got Lamar Jackson and Derrick Henry.
Damn.
Jamar Chase has been perfect.
You can go ahead. You can go ahead and book G Money in the championship game if one of those two don't get hurt.
Yeah, that's the thing right there.
I really was thinking Josh Allen and Keon Coleman was a stack.
Tell you what.
I mean, G Money literally has 100% of the Ravens offense on his roster.
He does.
With Lamar Jackson and Derrick Henry. Because he's got all the passing with Lamar, and he's got all the rushing with Derrick Henry, and then the rushing with Lamar. It's like if you could have a 3-edged sword with 2 people, if you could do that, he'd have it. It's like, god damn.
Yeah, I know.
So that's wild.
All right. Let's get to the 4:30 game on Sunday. We've got the Bears at the Commanders. The Bears are 1.5-point favorites on the road. I think we are on to technically we're on to Nestor here. So it seems like Jaden Daniels probably won't play. It's still kind of up in the air.
He's not playing.
Yeah,
He's not
okay,
playing.
he's not playing.
And if you don't mind, I'll go ahead and go first on this one so that I go first on one because normally G Money goes first twice.
Yeah.
So this time we only has to go first once. I'm gonna go ahead and take Chicago on this one. I think Washington is a good team when you have Jaden McDaniels out there. I think they're a little bit different, but Chicago, the last 3 weeks, has just been playing different ball, man. Like Caleb Williams is started to look like the quarterback that everyone expected him to be. So much so that I picked him up in fantasy, and he got me like 25 and 32 points in the last 2 games he played. So the offense is rolling. The defense has always been good. And you're going with a Washington team. Who are they putting out there at quarterback if McDaniels isn't out there?
Mariota.
That's
Mariota.
Mariota.
Oh shit!
Yeah, Marcus Mariota.
Super
Like, how is he
Mario.
still even in the goddamn league? So I think Nestor was in diapers when Mariota was in college. So yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and take Chicago with the points. Watch them fuck me on this, but just the smart money with Caleb Williams playing the way he is, the offense actually kind of humming. And Washington without their quarterback, I'm taking Chicago. This would have been a great game though had both quarterbacks been healthy.
I know.
I would have loved to see McDaniels and Caleb Williams go at each other. Would have loved to see it.
Nestor.
Yeah, hard to bake my pick on this one because I from preseason I was pretty high on Chicago's defense. They made some pretty good strides off season, so my bet is that why would you risk your new franchise quarterback against a pretty tough Chicago defense? You'd have to be insane. Just be safe and make Mariota play a game and then just come back and see what happens. You'd have to be insane. Them in Chicago, their defense is great. Caleb Williams is finally, getting into the into groove things. You got everybody healthy. Your whole wide receiver core is healthy, and you got Keenan Allen in there that can make a few good plays. You got Cole Kmet. You have 3 running backs that have one standard running back, but you got 3 guys that can pretty safe. So 1.5 is perfect for me. Give me Chicago.
G Money.
Yeah, I mean, everything you all said. Chicago's defense is better than Washington's. And with no Jaden Daniels playing, I'm going to take the Bears.
Yep, I'm going to fall in line here. Also going to take the Bears. This just came down to, if Jaden Daniels is not playing, then yeah, I'm going to take the Bears here on the road. I think that Marcus Mariota had a great showing because he was playing the Panthers, and it was unexpected. But now that the Bears know he is playing, and they have a very good defense, they are not the Panthers. They should be able to handle this. 2 points on the road, so yeah. Last but not least, Monday night game. I mean, let's be honest, last and least. Giants at Steelers. Steelers are 6.5 point favorites at home. Nestor, what do you like here?
Yeah, it's funny. I just saw some news where Malik Neighbors was like, I don't remember that scary concussion. I was like, well, that's a concussion.
Oh, shit.
That's what, like, when Tua's
that's literally what it is you had, man.
Tua's coming back now. Tua's like, I'm not wearing no Guardian cap. That's a personal choice. I'm happy. I'm like, that? You're cooked. You're cooked, buddy.
What do I need that for?
What are you talking about? What happened? Look, Mr. Unlimited. Holy shit. That first game back. Damn. Man's balling out. Justin Fields is, I had to drop him. But Russell Wilson had a great coming out party. I just feel like Pittsburgh is gonna have insane pass rush over the New York Giants. And this man Daniel Jones does not deal well with that at all. They're gonna have a party in Pittsburgh. So give me the Steelers.
G Money.
Pittsburgh, let's weld.
That was
And
the
you catch
dumbest
Grace some.
goddamn thing. Jesus Christ! I was hoping that never made it to the show. I mean, when he was with Seattle and he said "Go Hawks," that's one thing. When he went to the Broncos and said "Let's ride," I was like, "What the fuck are we doing?" And now it's "Let's weld." You can't just say "Go Steelers." What are we?
Well, what the fuck?
I mean,
Sierra was like, "What the fuck?"
Gary's like, "I'm going back to future." This is. No, I'm sorry, Gary. Go ahead.
I mean, but no, I mean, as we definitely Malin, I know from watching Wilson when he was with the Seahawks, throws probably the prettiest deep ball anybody can throw, and it's right there. We saw that in the game he played. The other thing that Wilson is really good at is throwing to the numbers outside the hash marks. Don't let him throw in the middle. Those are interceptions because he can't see over the lineman. But he rolls out, hits that, between the numbers and that and the sideline there, or the deep ball. Yeah, I just don't see how. I don't see how the Giants keep it close. I mean, that defense is decent, but Daniel Jones isn't. If they can bottle him up and sack him a few times, I think he's running every time he has the ball. I think at that point he's not even wanting to throw the ball because he's going to get sacked. And I think T.J. Watt will get 3 sacks this game.
Yep.
I'm going to make my pick quick. One team has Daniel Jones. The other team does not. In this case, less is more. So give me the Steelers to cover these 6.5 points because Daniel Jones is god-awful. So, to recap.
Hey, I didn't go. God damn.
Oh, I'm sorry.
What the hell?
We started with this.
Jesus Christ. I mean, I can make it quick too. I'm taking the Steelers. I'm not 100%. I mean, Nestor says that Russell Wilson had a great game. He threw for 264 yards. Yes, I love how the Steelers were propping that up as he set a franchise record, which he did for a quarterback debut for the Steelers for most yards. But he also only completed 55% of his passes. He didn't throw any picks, but 55% of his passes. And he doesn't have the running game that Justin Fields had. He only ran one time for 3 yards. But the offense played really well against the Jets defense. But I'm picking the Steelers because of their defense. Not because of anything about Russell Wilson or the Steelers offense. For some reason, outside of any goddamn normal comprehension, Giants did things against my Seahawks and beat us 29-20 that we've only seen one game this year that the Giants could do, and it just happened to be against my Seahawks defense, and I largely contribute that to the fact that we were missing people in the middle on defense, and our secondary was hung out to dry. Then we lost Woolen, and so we were a little bit banged up, but the Steelers defense is for real. They have only allowed more than 20 points 2 times. 2 times. And that was against Indianapolis for some goddamn reason, and 20 points to Dallas. Daniel Jones is not the type of quarterback that makes me think that they're going to be able to put up over 20 points on the Steelers defense. So I'm going to take the Steelers. Russell Wilson, he's got that deep ball in him. He does. I just maybe 55% completion because that's really unlike him. He's normally a high completion type of person. Maybe that gets up there, maybe because he hasn't played a meaningful game since he left Seattle. So maybe that's why it was a little bit rough. But yeah, I mean, hey, the Steelers are 4-2, man, and I think they're about to be 5-2. That's kind of crazy.
All right. To recap, we'll say it looks like a lot of us are agreeing this week. Tomorrow night's game, we have myself and Nestor taking the Vikings to cover 2.5 points. G-Money and Malin taking the Rams and the points. On Sunday at 1, we've got Nestor taking the Eagles plus 2.5. The rest of us taking the Bengals to cover 2.5. And then we're all taking the Ravens to cover the 8.5 points against the Browns. We're all taking the Bears to cover the 1.5 against the Commanders. And then we're all taking the Steelers to cover the 6.5 points against the Giants. Does that sound correct?
Sounds correct. I will say one thing, Jalen. This is one of those moments where I wish that Shaq was here, because I would love to see why he would take the Giants on this game. Because we all know he would. That big ass brain of him overthink it, and we know he would take the Giants to this shit ass organization. You know, he'd say godforsaken. This godforsaken team.
This godforsaken team.
This godforsaken team. So if Shaq has gone out unbeknownst to us and bought himself a Russell Wilson jersey, then Steelers are going to lose.
Yeah.
But other than that, they're going to cover that 6.5.
Well, that will do it for this week's show, folks. Next week we've got our basically our Halloween episode, because it's the day before Halloween. So coming at you with a fantasy update next week, because that will be 4 weeks. Check in.
And G-Money will be live the entire show because he'll be down in Tampa, Florida with me.
Yes.
Yes, I will. Yes, I will.
It'll be a very good time.
Maybe I can convince him to have a drink by then.
Yeah.
He might need one after a week down here. Yeah.
Folks, be sure to follow us on social media, TikTok and Instagram. It's at AFR Sports, all one word. We will talk to you all next week. And yeah, have a good week. We will see you all real soon.
Hey.
Peace.